to properly play overseas. Okay, so this is a topic that a lot of my clients on calls, I explained this if you've had a call with our whole company and everything. This is something that we talk about a lot, but I think this is something that a lot of people need to know, especially between, I want to say, the 13 to 21 age range. There's a lot that you have to, if you haven't played overseas before, or if you're looking to go again, there's a lot of things that you have to factor in. And us as a company, we make sure to bring all of this information to you before making a decision. So the number one thing, right, from any age, right, if you're 14, 15, 21, doesn't matter. The number one thing that you should first of all look into, identifying what you want, right? Okay, so if you're 14, if you're 17, 21, you know, you might have a different outcome and goal of wanting to go play in Europe. But you also have to realize what age into proportion of what the club wants, okay? What I mean by that is, if your ideal goal, let's say number one, is that you just want to sign a professional contract, right? And this is why I'm going into long-term and short-term, because they both correlate, and that's something that people don't always realize. If your goal, like I said, is wanting to go play professional, right? Let me just write this down. This is your ideal goal of playing professional. Let's say a lot of people that reach out to us, they want to go play professional overseas, overseas, right? Usually the ideal time frame that they look into this, they want to be a professional playing over in Europe when they're 18, right? Let's say 18 to 19 or whatever, around that age. Usually that's like, okay, by then I would want to play professional, maybe 20. Most of these people, let's say you're 16, and they make the crucial mistake of telling themselves, okay, I'm just going to develop in America and Canada until I'm this age, and then from there onwards, I'm going to go and play professional. And this is where you guys have it's a very, very big mistake that I'm going to get into in 1 second. Okay. So anyone that's played in Europe before, you guys train 3 times a day, every single day, right? In the gym, physio, right? And the most important thing is you review yourself, so tactical analysis. And the most important thing above all of this is you have a coach, right, that has played professional legitimately, that's looking at you. Now, most of the players over here, the reason why we talk about this is you have to go into what is the best place for your development. Because there are people over in Europe, and this is what people make the mistake. They wait until they're 18 and then they go to Europe, play against people that have had this legitimate development since they were 10 years old. So 8 years. And you're coming from Canada, right? You're coming from Canada without even having 1 month of this development, and you expect to go and sign a professional contract. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's very, very, very unlikely. You need to be under that system first, okay? Develop. And this is why I tell all my players, the sooner that you can get into the system, the easier it is for you to eventually sign a professional contract. That's just a fact, right? And this is someone as a player and as someone that works with thousands of players all the time that we send over. Like, we see this a lot of the time. It's not even about your skill. It's just about your system. You haven't been under that system for long enough. So what I'm getting at here is that you have to first identify your goal. We'll just go with the professional contract. That's what everyone wants, right? First, we'll go into the 14 to 18 age range. 14 to 18 age range. At this age, the number one thing that we could also as a company set you guys up with is you need somewhere where the development, like I said, is the best of the best. Now, this is like, for example, in Spain, one of our number one places we recommend for anyone that's at this age, usually, right? Obviously, there's different circumstances, but usually at this age range, if they're like at that level, or they're a little under and we want them to develop, Spain is a place that we send a lot of our players. Another place is Austria. Austria has very good development as well in their youth. So these two, I would say, is where we would recommend. Now, for the older ages, And this is, again, this is crucial, right? The reason why I'm saying this is because you develop here for 3 years, 2 to 3 years, then you can play, and I'll go into more, but just, so number one thing, for 14 to 18, you should develop in a place like this for 2 to 3 years, and that's where we can help you with that. But anywhere, let's say from 18 to, let me use a different color. 18, let's say 19 to 23. At this age, you should have been developed. It's like you are at the point in your game where most of the time coaches are going to be seeing not your potential, but more of what player you are at now. Because like I said, at 19 to 23, most players, you should be on the second team, or if not even the first team, bro, pretty much, of most of these professional academies, right? So they're going to be looking at, okay, how is this player's skill now? If he's not at that level, or maybe in 1 to 2 months, not at that level, we're probably not going to want him. At this age, they also look at potential, because a 14 to 18-year-old in 2 years can change his game completely. At 19, it's a little bit too late, okay? At that age, like I said, they want first team. Usually you already should be at first team level. So that's where, and like I said, it's not too late for you guys. This is why I'm telling you this. This is not too late. Okay, the number one thing that we recommend is you still need professional development. So where do you go? If Spain's so high demand and Austria's so high demand, I'm 19 to 23, where do I go? And that's where places like UAE, so Dubai, places like Qatar, places like Latvia, places like Croatia, places like Abu Dhabi, places like the whole Saudi, places like Singapore and Malaysia, Singapore and Malaysia, okay? All of these countries that you see here, we have direct connections with first to third division clubs that we can send players anytime we want, okay? This is the place for someone like you that's gold, because most of the 19 to 23-year-olds, number one, this is the thing that you don't know. Most of the 19 to 23-year-olds that come to us, they don't have a transfer market already. That's the number one thing. You need to sign a legitimate professional contract, get on the transfer market, okay, and develop for 2 years. Once you've done that, ideally, 2 years of playing as a professional footballer in one of these clubs that I just mentioned, in one of these countries, sorry, you've developed at that professional level system at adulthood. Now, 2 years pro with a transfer market. Now, at this stage, if you really, really develop, that is when we can go into maybe looking at of even topper country, like somewhere in Italy, somewhere in Spain. But before that, it becomes very, very hard to getting a legitimate opportunity where you sign in Spain, just because you don't have, number one, the resume and the development. And it's not too late, but you just need to develop somewhere else for a bit. We've had one of our players, like I said, wasn't even good enough to go play in the Middle East. He went and developed in one of our country, like I said, in Croatia, 1 to 2 years, and then went and we got him a first division trial where the club covered everything, just because of the fact that he went and developed at one of the countries, like we said, okay? And he originally had went to Spain, and Spain is somewhere that a lot of players go there, and this is the very, very big mistake. Players want to come from Canada, for example, America, to the best place in the world, arguably, for youth development. And then they don't make it there, and then they think that they're not good enough. No, there's 10, 20 different other countries that have 200 clubs in each country that is still at that level, just maybe a little bit worse. Just because you can't make it here right now doesn't mean that in 2 years of development somewhere here won't make you able to go back there. But now, let's go back to the original point. This was just something that I wanted to show you guys regarding overseas. So you have to first identify, okay, what do you want? Okay? So in my opinion, if you want a professional contract, like I said, the highest possible chance is like us setting you up with one of those clubs, like I said, in Qatar, Malaysia, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. Okay? Because those clubs still haven't been tapped into. I know after Ronaldo obviously moved to Al Nassr, Middle East is getting enough hype, but it's not actually as much as you think. There's still second, third, first division clubs that actually are looking for players, especially players in the youth, because that's where they're lacking. A lot of the time, players that are 24 and up want to go there, but they're actually very, very interested in finding players from the age of 20, from 18 to 23. They would love that. Okay, a lot of the clubs that we work with, just because they're moldable too, and at that age, like I said, if your goal is your number one goal is to sign a professional contract, we can 100% put you in that opportunity where you sign right away. Okay, obviously it's dependent on your performance, but it's a legitimate opportunity where you're with the direct club. Okay, and it's not somewhere, like I said, in Spain with a first division club, like clubs that we work with, like Real Oviedo, Real Sporting de Gijón, clubs like Marbella FC, clubs like this that we work with, like, bro, it's very, very hard to get a direct opportunity with the first team right away. You have to go up the ranks through the international academy, then through to the second team, then through to the first team. And a lot of the time, bro, this is hard. It might not even be about your level. The club might not even be looking. This is a whole pathway, bro. From the international academy, if you can even get into the second team, that's a very, very rare case scenario. That does not happen. It's very, very hard. It's something, because these are some of the best players in the world that you're playing with, like I said, that have been under that crucial development for over 10 years. So how are you going to get there? The best way to get there is through going to a country, like I said, like Croatia, places like this, to develop first, okay? And then you go into that. So that's the number one thing that you need to first do, is to identify what you want, okay? So if you want to sign a professional contract, or if you want to go, like I said, for 14-year-olds, the age matters. If you're 14 and you want to sign a pro contract, you need development first. But if you're 18, that's what I'm saying. Someone that's 19 years old, that's never played in Europe, and someone that's 14 that's never played in Europe, they have the same goals. They have the same thing. They're like, oh, both of us want to come to Spain. Bro, this is completely different for both of you. One, it's the right move because you need development. And the other one, it's not the right move. At 19, it's not the right move to go there right away. It's not. Even a little bit, I would even say maybe sometimes 18, unless you're a very, very good player. Okay? So for 14 to 18, you know, they both assume that the word pro means going over here to like a top club. No, pro for this guy is development, 3 years. Okay? 2 to 3 years of development under a professional academy. He cannot get into a professional academy. Best case scenario for this guy, like I said, since he's young, it's a lot easier because they look at potential. So, like, the reason why I was saying it's so much harder for 19-year-olds, because the route is just second team, first team, done. For a 14-year-old, they look, okay, what kind of player is this guy going to be in 2 years from now? And if they see potential, then they'll sign him. And signing to an under 15 academy team in Spain is a lot easier than the second team of a La Liga Division 1 La Liga club. Way harder. So, with that being said, right, with this age group, right, from the 14 to 17, 18 age group, we would like to set you up with somewhere like Spain, Austria, direct trial. You develop 2-3 years, you play. Okay, and this is if you're legitimately committed. This player, you need, for us to be able to really work with you, okay, we can get you a trial. And then our ideal goal, like I said, is we want to send you and you don't come back. You get a transfer market. You play 2 years in this academy, and by this time doesn't matter, 21, 22, 23, 24, but you're, number one, you've got that development that you weren't able to get at 14, but you got it at this age, which it's late, but it's still possible, like I said. Obviously, the best case scenario from 14 to 18 is you go into one of these. But if you don't, life happens. Like I said, us as an agency, we aren't one of those agents that just say, oh, if you're 19, we can't work with you. The thing is, we want to work with everyone because we think that everyone deserves a chance to go play at that top level, regardless of if they make it, if they don't. Okay, because either way, they make it in some way. Now, with that being said, right? So, number one, best case scenario, I went over this, best case scenario with this. The number one thing you have to do for a 19-year-old is get on a professional team in one of those countries that we mentioned, like Qatar, Croatia, all these countries. Number two, for this guy, get that development. So like I said, you have to understand what you want and the way to take. A lot of people want to go pro, but they don't know the route in proportion to their age. So the number one thing, like I said, after you realize this is, okay, now you know where you want to play at your age. What's the best thing? You know, don't make the mistake of picking 2 to 2. Like I said, age in proportion to the club makes a big difference. Okay? So that's kind of just a quick video that I wanted to show you because this is a huge problem that we're really seeing with other especially clients that we're working with recently, a lot of them that they've played over in Europe before, they are misguided by agents that just want to set them up anywhere, and they don't understand what's the highest chance of them succeeding and developing, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Like I said, this is a problem that we're really seeing recently, is that people aren't getting the right education going overseas. It's not something that they see in terms of, like, they don't really have, like, even when I was playing before, you don't really have, if you're really blessed if you have someone that can explain this stuff to you and understand, okay, like, you know, I understand, you know, you're going over to another country, you're like, I don't even know what to expect, I don't know where to go. But like I said, the number one thing that you have to do is just keep that in mind with your system, like I said, in your age. And us as an agency, like I said, we work with thousands of players every single day, have over 20 calls every single day with different players, and give them different advice in terms of what is the best thing for their development. And not just, like I said, a player, like we'll have players that are 19, they automatically want to, it's like trying to learn how to run before you can walk. They want to go play over in Spain, not understanding that we actually want the best for them, as you need to go play somewhere else first to develop and get that transfer market, or else you're just going to go there for 2 weeks and come back, right? So that's not what we want. So I hope you guys like this video. If you guys want to reach out and work with us to see if you qualify, like I said, send us a message at Aquasportsagency or any of our partner, over 10 plus partner agencies that we work with. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let's get it.